That's the first time in the last 7 years that somebody has introduced me by Skinny Vinny at an AA meeting. So that's pretty rad. What's up, guys? My name's Vinny, and I'm an alcoholic addict. My sobriety date is February 1st, 2018. I recently celebrated 7 years. And to say, yeah. And to say those words and to hear those words come out of my mouth is pretty unreal, because before this sobriety, I could never get past 30 days. I've been at it since I was, I got sober when I was 30. I've been in and out of the room since I was 24, and was never able to get past 30 days. So to say that I have a little over 7 years is pretty remarkable. It's a fucking miracle, and I owe it all to AA and my fellow brothers and sisters in it that keep me accountable. I grew up with a heroin addict as a mother. My father passed away, which is so crazy because this is the first time I'm ever gonna say this to anybody. I recently found out my father died from an overdose when I thought he died from, he was riding his Harley and he got hit by a drunk driver. And for my whole life, I thought my father died from an infection that grew from his leg to his heart and killed him. But my sister recently told me it was from an overdose from the pain meds that he was on. So for 37 years, I thought my father died from an infection, but it was an overdose. That happened when I was 2. And so growing up with a heroin addict as a mother, and a lot of most of my family members, alcoholics, addicts, it just runs in the fucking family, dude. It's just like, it was super heavy. At a very, very young age, I knew what alcoholism was. I knew what drug addiction was. I saw what it did to people. And I always, at 8, 9 years old, I remember telling myself that I would never fucking do drugs, never drink alcohol, because I saw what it did to my family. And, and at a very young age, at 10 years old, I remember my mother picking me up from school and nodding out at the wheel on our way home, and that was kind of, I gave her an ultimatum. I remember this like it was yesterday. I started crying while she's nodding out, driving, and I gave her an ultimatum, and I was like, look, dude, like, you either stop getting loaded or you're gonna lose me. I'm 10 years old and I'm saying this to my mom. You're gonna lose me and you're gonna have nobody in your life. My father's dead, my sister ran away, she's not in our lives anymore, and you're not gonna have anybody. And that ultimatum made her stop, and that was the last day that she ever shot up. And granted, she's been on methadone since that day, so fucking 25 years or some shit. And but she never got loaded after that. And it was still, my mom was one of those addicts. She was like what we call a functioning addict. She still had like a really good job working at Yale University as like the head grounds maintenance department, like taking care of the football fields and the soccer fields and all that shit. She was able to keep a job while getting loaded. So I grew up with we weren't poor, but we weren't rich, middle class type shit, even though my mother was a drug addict. And I kind of had a normal childhood, as at the time I thought was normal, and I grew up just like every other fucking kid, dude, I loved skateboarding, I loved music, I loved sports, and very first time I picked up a video camera, looking back now, was my first addiction. I loved the video camera. I had it in my hand all day, every day, and it was just something that was just so special to me. And I don't really know what it is. I think it's just the fact of like capturing memories and being able to like look at it decades later, and then like the passion and the dream of like working in production of some sort, of like just wanting to work with cameras. And then April of 2001, Jackass came out, and when I saw that, I was just like, holy fuck, that is my calling. I need to do stupid stuff with my buddies and travel the world and make people laugh. That was like, I wanted nothing else in the world except to do that. And I remember pointing at the TV and telling that to my mom, and like my mom was super supportive, and she was like, okay, yeah, good luck, that's cool. And that was my life from like 10 years old to 16 until the drugs and alcohol came in the picture. You know, it was just like growing up, I always wanted to be the center of attention. I always needed validation from every single one of my peers. And the video camera kind of brought that in a way where I could make cool stuff and like make VHS tapes, bring it to school and show it to everybody. You know, that was like my way of like getting validation from everybody. And then, you know, like a lot of normal teenagers, dude, you start smoking weed and then I fall in love with that. You know, I think it was because I just loved forgetting about family bullshit and just life on life's terms at such a young age. And it allowed me to like numb myself and just like be with my friends and just like, and then I start selling the weed because I, again, need that validation and I need people to like me. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to be the town drug dealer. So like everybody needs me. And that's kind of what it was. And I took that and ran with it. And high school was super normal, smoking weed, drinking. And then as soon as I graduated, that's kind of where like opiates and stuff came into the picture. And which is crazy because it all started because I got my wisdom teeth taken out. And I was in so much pain that a buddy of mine gave me one. He's like, dude, just eat it. You won't be in pain anymore. You'll be fine. And I was so scared to take it. But I did it. And it was like this sense of, it felt like a security blanket. You know, it felt like this, I just didn't give a fuck about any other problems that I had. You know, because as a kid, I was so self-conscious about everything. I wasn't good enough. Nobody liked me. I was fat. I wasn't getting any chicks. You know, I was just so self-conscious in every area of my life. I wasn't that good of a student. You know, all I really give a fuck about was the validation and just wanted to be liked by everybody. And when I took that first opiate, all of that went away. And I was just like, wow. It felt like I've been looking for that feeling my whole life, that feeling of like numbness and not caring and not my brain not racing about fucking every single insecurity that I have. And it was like the quickest progression, man. All my dreams, all my passions went out the window. I didn't give a fuck about any of that shit that I loved so much for so long. Hadn't picked up a camera for years, ended up selling all my gear, obviously, down the line. But I just didn't, I kind of like, when I felt that first high, it was like, oh, I finally found you. I want you forever. And I never want to let you go. That's what it was for me, you know, and I took it and I ran with it. I'm an extremist, man. Even in sobriety, I take everything to the extreme. And it's the quickest progression from just eating a couple pills. The next thing you know, I'm homeless in Burlington, Vermont, shooting dope, like helping people sell dope. It was just like the very low part of my life. And it got to a point where, you know, people are dying left and right. I have countless overdoses, close to 15 overdoses, and 3 of those overdoses I've passed away and have gotten brought back to life, obviously. And still, none of that stopped me from wanting that fucking high. I loved it so much. I loved it more than anything. And when I'm deep in my addiction, I love to hurt the people that are closest to me. And I don't have many regrets in my life, because if I didn't go through all that, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. But like, I used to steal so much from my mother. And I'm the type of dude that was like, I would like army crawl while she's asleep. I'm army crawling to her fucking purse and like grabbing her debit card, stealing the car, going to the ATM, pulling all of her cash out, coming back, army crawling back to her purse, putting the card back in, and just robbing her blind every fucking night. And then, like, you know, the one thing that I had, that my mom had left from my father, was the wedding ring. And of course I'm pawning that, thinking that I'm gonna fucking get money to buy it back. Yeah, you know, it's just like, it's the insanity behind everything. And you know, my closest friends, you know, one of them went to jail for a very long time. One of them overdosed, passed away. And he was like the sweetest kid. Wouldn't hurt a fucking fly, and he was a genius. He was a computer genius. We were like buying heroin off a Silk Road with Bitcoin when it was worth $100. You know, like he was so fucking smart, and he had one overdose and passed away. And for the first few years of my sobriety, I would always think back at that and be like, damn, why did he pass after one? And I have so many, and I've hurt so many fucking people in the process of me just like going so hard, and I'm still here. And I'm not just living, I'm not surviving, I'm not just living, I'm thriving. Like, I'm doing what I've always wanted to do. And it's not like I came out to LA looking for it either. Like, honestly, I came to LA because it's easier to be homeless. And, you know, the last few years of it were the darkest points of my life, where I said this earlier to you guys, you know, I was living in a handicap-sized porta potty shooting dope for almost 3 years, and I accepted that that was my life. I accepted the fact that I was going to live the rest of my life a lonely heroin addict, and I'm going to die a lonely heroin addict. And I accepted it. And when you come to an acceptance like that, you really don't give a fuck anymore. You know, I'm going out guns blazing. I don't like get high to, like, I'm not going to try to kill myself, but I love touching the line of death. I love that shit. And it was just the darkest times in that fucking porta potty. And somehow somebody, I had an Obama phone at the time, and in that fucking porta potty, I was chilling. I'd be watching Netflix on the Obama phone, shooting dope, and I was comfortable. That's how fucking sick it is. I was comfortable. And and somebody, somehow, some way, somebody got my number and reached out and was like, hey man, I heard you're struggling down bad. I'll fly you to LA, but you gotta go to treatment. And this is when body brokering was a heavy fucking thing, and I didn't know it at the time, but that was his intentions behind it. And so of course I was like, yeah, dude, yeah, sure, I'll take your fucking flight to LA. Like, sure, yeah, I'll go to your fucking treatment center. Like, I just want the free flight to LA. It's way easier to be homeless. I could fucking sleep on the beach and be straight, dude, way better than a porta potty in the fucking cold winter Connecticut winters. And so that's what I did, you know. I took his flight and ended up at a treatment center down in Anaheim, left after a few days, and just went straight to Newport Beach and was like a beach bum for a few weeks, somehow scoring dope, you know, somehow manipulating my mother. Mom, I'm doing so good, you know, like, but I need a few bucks, you know, the treatment center I'm at wants to go on a retreat and we need money for it, you know, like, I'm just saying the most outlandish shit, still manipulating my mother to send me money. And that was just an ongoing thing for a few months, that I slowly made my way from Newport Beach north up to Skid Row. And I was on Skid Row for 3 months. And that was so fucking heavy, dude. That was like, I saw shit that no one should ever see. I saw people getting raped. I saw people getting killed. I saw everything. And I'm just this fat white kid from Connecticut with a skateboard and a backpack. And I'm still kind of comfortable, which is insane. I look back at it and I'm like, how could I even do that? And it's the insanity behind everything, just because I wanted to keep getting loaded. And I know living that kind of life, I will continue to get loaded. I had no intentions of getting sober whatsoever. And my mother, again, I was still manipulating her, and so she was still paying for my health insurance at the time, so because I'm 29 now. And, you know, going in and out of sober livings just for what we call, you know, the 3 hots and a cot. And just eating some real food, sleeping on a real bed for a little bit, getting my tolerance back down, and I'd just go back out. And that was, again, the insanity, the cycle of it all. And not giving a fuck, just not wanting to be a part of society, not wanting to just try and do this, you know. And the last sober living that I got kicked out of, because I'm a horrible client. I'm the type of client that, like, I try to convince people to leave with me. Let's go get loaded. I'm that kind of client, the worst. And so that's what I did at the last sober living that I got kicked out of. And I'm waiting in front, waiting for my Uber. And I had this very strange, what I call now a spiritual experience, when I had a very, very vivid whisper of my best friend who passed, as if he was standing behind me, and he said, "Enough is enough." And it scared me enough to the point, because I had some money in my pocket, I was gonna go get a hotel room, and it scared the shit out of me enough to the point where I was like, okay, I'll get loaded tomorrow. Let me just go find a safe place to sleep. So I call the program director, and he puts me at the house designed for recovery, where I run now and where I stayed sober. And I walk in, and that's where I meet one of my best buds now, and we just clicked. And still, again, no intentions of getting and staying sober. I was just, okay, I'm in a safe place, I'm warm, and something happened there, and that's why I respect Pat and Graceland so much, is because that sober living that I went to had the structure, had the accountability, but it also had just the right amount of freedom and the camaraderie behind it. Camaraderie is so fucking important when you're trying to do this thing. Doing it alone is impossible. You need the brotherhood, you need the camaraderie, and going through this shit together makes it way better. And the structure too, it's just like bro, if I got caught, if I didn't make my bed, if I had a sock laying out, and bro, I'm coming straight from Skid Row. And if somebody's yelling at me, telling me, hey, you have a fucking sock hanging out of your drawer, write some words. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck? I was just sleeping on the fucking streets, and I didn't even have a bed for the last fucking 5 years, never mind make my bed, So it's like, coming from one extreme to another, I found out that I fucking needed it, bro. I needed the structure. I needed somebody to fucking pull me up on my bullshit and tell me, yo, motherfucker, go make your bed. Go clean your shit. Go take a shower. Go brush your teeth. I was not a normal person at this point, bro. I didn't brush my teeth. I wasn't showering. I was filthy, and I didn't know how to live life like a normal person. I didn't know how to, bro, never paid taxes before in my life. I couldn't look somebody in the eyes and have a decent conversation with them. I didn't know how to shake somebody's hand properly. I didn't know fucking anything about life, living life. I had no idea. So I literally needed the structure to teach me. And I needed to just be open-minded and willing. Two very important key words in this whole process is open-mindedness and willingness. Just be open-minded and trust too. Have a little bit of faith that Pat might know what the fuck he's talking about. People that have been here for a while might know what the fuck they're talking about. Taking direction is super important, and I know us as drug addicts, we don't like to take direction from anybody. We think we know what's best. We always think we know what's best. But if we knew what's best, we wouldn't be in a sober living. You wouldn't be here talking to me, listening to me talk. You wouldn't be fucking writing words at a desk. If you knew what was best for you, you wouldn't be in this room right now. Our best decision making leads us to fucking jails, institutions, and death. Straight up. And you need people to fucking steer your ship a little bit. Straight up. And it's just before I got the very first time I heard of AA and all this shit, I used to say it all the time, AA's a cult, AA's this, AA's that. They're gonna brainwash you. And somebody said something to me that it made me laugh, but it was so true. Bro, your brain needs washing. You're fucking dirty. Your brain needs washing, dude. You don't know how to live life. You need a wash. So, and I laughed at that, and it made so much sense. The program and the fellowship and the miracles that I have seen it make, it's unbelievable. And I can only speak for myself and my story, having somebody like me who I hated everybody. I was judging everybody. I didn't want to be a part of society. I didn't give a fuck if I lived or died. And if you left your fucking purse sitting right there and you turn away, bet your ass I'm going to put my hand in it and see what I can get. This program could save a fucking scumbag like me. It's a miracle. It's simple. And when you're in the middle of this process, whether you're in sober living or some sort of treatment, you know, it's gonna seem impossible. It's gonna seem so fucking hard. It's going to be, in the moment, one of the hardest times of your life. This shit isn't easy. If it was easy, everybody would fucking do it. But it's not. But when you get, I look back at I stayed in sober living for 3 years. 3 fucking years. Top bunk, closer to God. You know what I mean? Like, I did all of this. I created my entertainment career. Everything happened while I was living in a fucking sober living, and I owe it all to the program and the structure that I was in. Period. If I didn't have a place like this, because Graceland is very similar to the house that I got sober at, is very similar to the houses that I run now. If I didn't have this structure, if I didn't have the accountability, and I didn't have the camaraderie and the brotherhood between the guys there, I would have never made it. I always grew up wanting a big family. You know, I always grew up wanting a lot of friends, always needed the validation, right? And for some reason, when I got to this house, I've been to so many fucking houses, but when I got to this house, there was something about it, the camaraderie and the brotherhood, that made me stay. And it saved my life. This program saved my life. And it has allowed me to do stuff very quickly, too. Like I said, I got seven years. The shit that has happened in the last 7 years is unbelievable. I've traveled the world, a couple television shows that I've had, working with my heroes. Bro, I had pictures of Steve and Knoxville and all those dudes on my walls growing up, and now these dudes are some of my best friends, and I work with them. It's unbelievable. Like, when I remember when I was saying, like, I pointed at the TV and I was like, oh my God, that's what I want to do. My mom reminded me that. She's like, hey, remember when you pointed at the TV and you said that's what you want to do? She's like, never mind, are you doing it? But you're doing it with the people that you pointed at, which is fucking unreal. And it's all because of this. Thank you. It's all because of this. Each year, when I got sober, I waited about a year to do the steps. And when I did the steps, it was this next level up. It was this release. Because when I had a year, I was still like kind of hesitant of the steps. I don't know if it was hesitant. I think it was just laziness, you know, and like I had my priorities were a little fucked up, you know. I was just like, oh shit, my entertainment career is kind of taking off. Let me fucking put all my energy in that, and, you know, I'll do the steps a little later. But, you know, it was, my morals were coming back, because now I'm a house manager at the house that I got sober at, and I'm preaching to these guys like, look, you guys need to fucking do the steps when I haven't even done them yet. So I'm like, so it's like, now I have a year sober, and like my morals are starting to come back. I'm starting to feel like, oh shit, can they tell I'm lying? Like, I think I'm like a horrible liar now. And like, so it's like, okay, I need to start, I have to practice what you preach, you know? And so it's like, now I have to start doing the steps. And that was like, it was like the next level, you know? It was like a release of fucking tension off my shoulders, and being able to repair relationships. You know, it's like, you know, the cliche saying, the promises, right? And the gifts of this program. Yeah, the money's cool. Yeah, the experiences are dope. Yeah, all that is fucking cool. But the most important, the most beautiful thing is the relationships that I've been able to mend. And, you know, like, I have the best relationship with my mom. I have the best relationship with my grandmother. I have the best, my sister's back in my life. Like, I have a niece and a nephew, and like, she wouldn't let me near the fucking kids back then. Now I'm a great uncle. It's like shit like that is like beautiful. That's the magic. Everything else kind of comes. If you, like, I always tell my guys down at my house, it's just like, if you just continue to do the next right thing, be honest with yourself and everybody around you, and be of service, shit just works. I can't explain why. I can't explain how. It just does. Yes, the steps saved my life. This program saved my life. But another very, very important thing that saved my life was purpose. Purpose. You need to find a purpose. You have to have a reason to want to wake up in the morning. You have to. Because why are we getting sober? Why? To have some fucking boring, miserable existence? No, dude, go out and find a fucking purpose. It might not be the purpose that you want right away, but it's the purpose that you need. Look at it like a meeting commitment. That's a purpose. You have people that count on you to do the commitment at the meeting. I tell my guys, go fucking knock on the neighbor's door and offer to walk her dogs. That's a purpose. You know what I mean? It's like, find a fucking purpose. It might not be the purpose that you want, but it's the purpose that you need. But the purpose that you want will fucking come if you continue to do the next right thing and be honest and be of service. Straight up. It hasn't all been fucking peaches and cream though. Like don't get me wrong. Like, my life is dope and I've done all this amazing shit. But dude, from year 6 to year 7 was the hardest year of my life. Got married in 2024, January 2024. She left me June 2024. The day I got back from tour. I was on tour for on and off for 3 years straight. The day I get back, she left. We were married fucking 5 months. And I was on tour for 3 of those 5 months. And here we go again. My insecurities coming in. My fucking depression coming in. My anxiety coming in. Fuck, what did I do wrong? Was it me? Was it me? Like, then I'm like, because she was from Toronto, so we had to do the whole green card shit. So I'm like, oh my God, was it all a green card grab? Did I just get bamboozled? Like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh my God, she must have cheated on me. But I'll never know. And I locked myself in my apartment for 30 days. And the beautiful thing about it is not once did I think about relapsing. Not once. Because this program has given me that. I went through the hardest fucking time in my life. Not once did I want to get high. And, but I was miserable. I was fucking miserable. I couldn't stop. My brain was fucking spinning, bro. Like, I barely ate. I think I lost like 30 pounds that month. Like, I was so fucked up. But after like 3 or 4 weeks, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just sitting in my misery. And the only answer in my head, I was like, okay, what works? I dove head first back in the program. It's the only thing that works. The hardest time of my life, this is what saved me again. You know, and now I'm dealing with fucking divorce and spending fucking over $10,000 on attorneys and hoping that she doesn't get anything. And now, and like, in my head, the old spiteful drug addict me is like, as soon as this fucking divorce is over, I'm calling ICE. Yeah. You know, because her work visa came through. Her work visa came through, but her green card, it wasn't finished because she left me before I had to send in one more tax document, like tax returns from previous years. And I never did it because she had already left me. So I was like, fuck that, I'm not sending my shit in again. So she doesn't have a green card. She's illegal in the States right now. So the drug addict, spiteful motherfucker in me, the old me, is like, fuck, dude. I'll show you, I have ICE on speed dial right now. In my head, I'm like, I want, as soon as this divorce is over, make sure she doesn't get a fucking dime from me. I'm calling ICE, and I'm getting that bitch deported. That's the old me. But my sponsor tells me all the time, because I have asked so many people, and I think I've asked so many people whether I should do it or not is because I'm looking for the answer that I want to hear. You know, but my sponsor tells me, everybody tells me the same shit. Bro, you already know the answer. We're not in the business of hurting people anymore. That's it, you know? And motherfucker, I hate hearing that. I hate it because like she hurt me so much, and like the addict in me is just like, you hurt me, I fucking hurt you even more. But we're not in the business of doing that anymore. And you know, I'm still struggling with it. I still like, my dreams are gnarly with it, you know, but I owe it to this. I am getting through it because of this fucking program and meditation and therapy. And you know, like I go to therapy, bro. Like if you told me to go to therapy years ago, I'd tell you, what are you, gay? Like that's what I would say. Like I would be like, that's what I would say. Like, but that's what I would say because I was a fucking like. Was that bad for? Okay. But sorry guys, sorry. But that's, I mean, literally that's what I would say because I was stupid, immature back then, you know? Like I was immature as fuck back then. But now it's just like, yeah, dude, I love going to therapy. I love talking about my feelings because this shit works. Again, you can't do this shit by yourself. You can't.
Self can't reveal itself.
Yeah.
Crosstalk.
But, you know, I can say it over and over and over again that this program saved my life. But nowadays, like having said, what was that?
Oh, the time was up like a couple minutes.
Oh, my bad. I'll just wrap it up right now. You guys are in an amazing spot to be able to get this. You guys should consider yourself lucky. Never mind, most people don't make it in the rooms, but you're in a gorgeous spot with the structure that you need, with the accountability from your peers, and you have people running this that actually know what they're talking about. It's just stay. That's it. That's it. You just fucking stay, and it will fucking click. Pat, thanks for having me.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.